back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Before you start to cringe at this video, let me explain. And before I explain, let me fucking shout out my boy Alberto Castro for the big $25 donation and requesting this video as well. Now, what is this video? You say, you cringing when you see the title, Top Gangster Fighters from the Hood, you know, because that is what my boy requested, but you're cringing like, what the fuck does that mean? You already know there's people in here hating. I probably got a thumbs down just from the title of this video, but you can all eat a dick because I really don't give a fuck. So what this video is, it's a top 5 of fighters that, hey, you say top gangster fighters from the hood. Now, when we say gangster, I don't mean guys that are literally in gangs out here shooting in gang fights and shit like that, out here throwing up gang signs and shit like that. I'm talking about dudes that I feel like fighting was one of their only options. UFC, MMA was one of their only options. They started fighting because they didn't have many other options, and it turned into their success story, their personal success story, and now they are where they are thanks to MMA. So I'm not talking about fucking gang banging, you know what I'm saying, set tripping gangsters. I'm just talking about dudes that I feel like might be from the hood, and you know, fighting might have been their only option. So let's get into that. Now, I almost did a top 10 because fighters started flooding my mind, but then I was like, I had to go back and see the requests, and you know, if it was just top gangster fighters, I might have had a top 10, you know what I'm saying? I'd probably for sure had to throw Chael Sonnen on there. How can you not mention Chael? Fucking Westland P, Oregon, the American gangster, you know what I'm saying? How can you not mention Chael? So he gets honorable mention. I low-key thought about Conor McGregor, you know. He started off eating blueberries. He's got that interview. Everybody always brings up Conor McGregor and his blueberries, you know. I don't know enough about Conor. I mean, he also has, you know, the hip-hop background. You know, he seems like a cool dude. He could fucking get a pass in the hood for a couple of days at least, you know what I'm saying? Conor's a cool dude, but when you say top gangster fighters from the hood, I don't know if that's really, you know, if he's the top 5 in what I think you want from this video. After that, I also thought about Cody Garbrandt, man. You know, he's a cool dude. I think he came up, you know, it might not be from the hood specifically that you're thinking of, but you know, he came up, I think, you know, brawling in barns and backyard barn brawls and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? So Cody Garbrandt, I thought about him, man, but when it came down to it, there were 5, actually 6, but 2 of them get put together. You get a fucking special treat. 5 fighters that came to mind. So this is not really in any particular order, but let's just start at number 5 with Platinum Mike Perry. I low-key wanted to fuck up that fucking rap battle he did, or we did, I did. You know that fucking, it's Platinum Mike Perry. All right, you know the fucking thing. But that shit was hard, and for this video I thought it might be pretty dope. I might just fucking put it in the beginning or something, you know. It's got a pretty dope beat too, so it's on that Rack It Up beat. So Mike Perry, man, he seems like a cool ass dude. He's a knockout artist. He's fucking, you know, he definitely seems like fighting might have been one of his only options. You know, I pointed out the other day whenever, you know, we've had a lot of fucking natural disasters going on, and Mike Perry went to Twitter and said, man, with all these like natural disasters going on, it's got me thinking the 1%, something about population control. And then he put like hashtag Illuminati with an A, like ALUM, like aluminum foil, but he put Illuminati with the A. I was like, oh, come on, dog. Now you can't tell me that ain't some fucking hood shit. Now Mike Perry, so yeah, Mike Perry's my dude, man, one of my favorite fighters too. So Mike Perry coming in at number 5. Like I said, we're not going into too much detail. I don't know these guys' fucking personal histories. I don't know the block they grew up on. I don't know I don't know how fucking gangster these guys really are. These guys could just have me fooled. So I mean, it's not that serious. It's not that deep, this thing, but you know what I'm saying. Mike Perry, that fucking dude, coming in at number 5. Number 4, I'm gonna go with motherfucking my fucking dude, swiggity swangin' bang Derek Lewis. Fuck you, Ted. I almost forgot about him. I almost forgot about my boy Derek Lewis. But when you talk about from the hood, I can't think of nobody, you know, as far as from like where I come from, you know, where I would come from, the hood. Derek Lewis seems like a nigga on the block. I'm telling you right now, just a swinging bang fucking, you know, a big dude on the fucking block, you know, been to the pit, maybe, you know what I'm saying? And I think he has been, but it wasn't for nothing crazy or nothing like that. But still, Derrick Lewis, when I think of fucking top gangster fighters from the hood, what the fuck are you talking about? Swing and bang, Derrick Lewis coming in at number 4. Number 3, we got the sweet Thug Rose. Yo, I almost forgot about her too, but there's no way she's getting left off this fucking list, especially not today. The day after she knocked out Joanna, forced the Ice Princess, the Ice Queen Joanna to tap the strikes at Madison Square Garden. Holy smokes. I think we might have a new Ice Queen. We thought it was Joanna, you know what I'm saying? But when you talk about Ice, let's talk about Thug Rose's stare downs and all her reactions to Joanna. Joanna was trying to cut deep, but Thug Rose said, I've been through way more than this. You know, she's trying to make me revisit my demons and shit, but man, she's iced. She didn't let nothing get to her. And that's the sign to me as somebody that's from the motherfucking hood. Not all the time, but you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's been through a lot. So, you know, a lot of this other stuff, it really just don't phase you too much. You know, there's other things to you. Rose is talking about mental health and caring about mental health and trying to, you know, a PSA for mental health and the people, because you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people around me. There's so many people around me that are affected by mental health, but it's just a side thought. Nobody even talks about it. It's not even, nobody cares. You know, niggas don't care. It don't matter. That's just not what it is around here. So, you know, Rose is somebody, you know, like me. I see it, but there's not really much to do about it. But Rose is using her platform to try and do something about it. Joanna, you know, she came through poking fun at her, telling her she's mentally unstable, she's gonna break her, taking shots, bro. And here comes Thug Rose with a motherfucking just legendary performance, man. That shit was so crazy. Thug Rose, there's no way she's not making this fucking top 5, this top 3. She's coming in at number 3. Thug Rose, I think she's got some shit on YouTube called like the Thug Rose Diary she's been doing, man. And I bet you people start tuning into that. I low-key kind of want to now. Like, you know what I'm saying? She shocked the world. I was one of those people. I mean, who didn't pick Joanna to win that fight? I think Thug Rose came into that fight like 6-3. Joanna was 14-0. Joanna was killing everybody. We just saw what Joanna did to Jessica Andrade and Carolina and Claudia. All the best in the division. And here comes Rose Namajunas shocking the motherfucking world. Left hook Laura, Michael Bisping style, taking out the champion, motherfucking coming in at number 3. Thug Rose Namajunas coming in at fucking number 2. I'm putting Jorge Masvidal at number 2, man. He could be number 1. Actually, you know what? Take it back. Spoiler alert. You motherfuckers know who number 1's gonna be now, but I'll explain why once we get there. Coming in at number 2, we got 2 brothers, Nick and Nate Diaz. Man, when you talk about, man, this one's so hard now, man, it could be number 1, it could be number 2. Jorge Masvidal, Nick and Nate Diaz, man, these guys are fucking, to me, like the definition. These guys are the definition of top gangster fighters from the hood. Jorge Masvidal, Nick and Nate Diaz. And now let me say this. There's a lot of fighters that are probably, this is the fight game. You know how many people are probably fucking from some type of impoverished environment? Niggas are fighting, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there are the athletes that got into the sport, you know what I'm saying, who probably didn't have to, but you know, but they're there. But when you're talking about people that had to fight, people that well, you know, if it wasn't for fighting, they'd probably be doing something not so, I mean, fighting is not even fucking a good thing, but you know, they might be, I don't want to say a life of crime, but you know what they say, people from the hood like dead or in jail. But when I think about people who were saved by fighting, I think about Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, and Jorge Masvidal. I mean, I guess I'll just put Jorge Masvidal right here. I'll just put Jorge Masvidal right here because I started off on him at number 2. But I mean, really, this whole top 5, there's, how do you rank 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? But these are the guys that are at the top of the list to me. Jorge Masvidal. If you don't know about Jorge Masvidal, this dude came all the way back up from Kimbo backyard street fights. It wasn't no fucking money involved. Everybody might throw in $30 a piece. Winner takes home $200. Fighting bigger dudes, no gloves, no rules. Niggas' eyes getting punched out by Kimbo and shit. Jorge Masvidal was one of those dudes fighting backyard dudes on short notice. Bigger dudes, and you can say what you want. Oh, those guys weren't actual MMA fighters. Well, neither fucking was Jorge back then. This was just a young nigga from the streets stepping in, throwing hands because that's something that you do, you know what I'm saying? you can go back and watch Jorge Masvidal's interviews. You know, just it just shines through. There's nothing about it. Like, he's not even. This nigga might be the most. When you talk about gangster, he might be the most gangster fighter that popular, famous fighter. I mean, I'm sure there's guys that are, you know, probably in amateurs or even at the lower end of the UFC that we really don't know about, that have, you know, a pretty dope story and, you know, probably fit this category, but I don't know who they are. So this is just a list off the top of my head. I didn't do no goddamn 2 weeks research and seeing where everyone came from and shit, like I said. But Jorge Masvidal, from backyard to bright lights, fucking now he's, you know, Madison Square Garden fighting Wonder Boy. He just lost. He's fighting at welterweight. Used to fight at 155, but before he even was in the UFC, this is his success story. If he don't win a belt in the UFC, this nigga made it. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Where he came from to where he is now. I mean, this dude before the UFC was fighting all around the world, getting robbed via split decision. That's been happening to him his whole career. But fighting in organizations you've never heard of, but still fighting against the top guys outside of the UFC, fighting, you know, fighting the best guys for his entire life. So with that being said, I mean, I think I've said enough. If you don't know about game bred Jorge Masvidal, I'm not gonna be able to explain it all to you just in this top 5 video. But he's in the fucking, he's that dude. So coming in at number 1 and 1A and 1B and 1C, I guess, Nick and Nate Diaz, man. You talk about, you know, one of the things about this video, you know, how I really put guys on here, as I said, are the people who I feel like if it weren't for fighting, who knows what would, you know, fighting fed these guys literally. Nick and Nate Diaz, like, I mean, just from what I've heard, I don't fucking know them personally, but Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, especially Nate Diaz, I know he started training jiu-jitsu because their jiu-jitsu coach offered to buy him lunch. Hey, you guys come fucking train, I'll buy you lunch. So, hey, fuck yeah, they're gonna buy us lunch, let's go in and train. I know exactly what that's like, you know, coming up. That would have been shit exactly like me. Hey, you know what? I tell you what, we're going out to eat if you come do this. I'm in there every fucking day, you know what I'm saying? Just because we ain't eating fucking bologna and ramen noodles today. This nigga's about to take us out to eat. It might just be to McDonald's to get a fucking number 1, but we don't even get that. So the fact that you're gonna take us out to eat, motherfucking, I'm gonna start training. And so enough training, these dudes turned into world-class fighters. Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz has fought the best of the best. Carlos Condit, George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, BJ Penn. Nate Diaz fucking took out Conor McGregor. Everybody knows Nate Diaz. Now he overshadows Nick just a little bit, but before that it was the opposite. Before that, Nick Diaz was the Diaz brother. Everyone still knew the Diaz brothers, but it was Nick who was the more prominent Diaz brother. But after Nate Diaz rose to the occasion against Conor McGregor on short notice, got the submission, everybody knows who the fuck Nate is now. But that doesn't change their fucking story, how they fucking starting from training, you know, for food pretty much. So Nick and Nate Diaz coming in at number 1, top gangster fighters from the motherfucking hood. Once again, thank you, Alberto Castro, for the motherfucking huge 25, or was it 20? Somebody donated 25, somebody donated 20, somebody donated to the computer fund. You know, I'm gonna shout you out on another video, on the next video, but this one was from Alberto Castro, so thank you for the donation, sir. I hope this was what you were looking for in your top gangster fighters from the hood video request. It is what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you tab at in the comments. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.